So when I first saw the Beast Broadhead, I immediately thought it looked similar to a Sevr, and it had some of the similar characteristics that the Sevr has. What's the difference between the Beast Broadhead and the Sevr, for those who don't know?
Yeah, they're very different, but first and foremost, Sevr is a great broadhead. No bash to them by any means. The main difference is they have that pivoting technology, right? So they can pivot around bone. What I found when I shot them was it didn't really pivot around bone into empty cavity, it pivoted right into other bone. So for example, if you shoot a scapula or something like that, it would still have to go its full diameter through that scapula. If you hit a rib, for example, it's a 2-inch cut, so it's going to have to break both of those ribs because it can't pivot around one without going into the other. Now, there are scenarios where they do really well, right? Like quartering away shots, it can pivot outside the body where it goes past the rib and stays straight. Really good. Also, nicking the edge of the scapula, also great. It hits the edge, it can pivot into a rib, but the rib's going to be softer than the scapula. You're going to get better penetration than like a standard completely locking open broadhead. But the way the Beast works is each blade is actually independent of the other blade. There's no O-rings, there's no nothing, and so if it hits bone, it can actually flex past the bone. Dual system in this basically that keeps it always open in the cavity. And you can see when we close it, you see the deployment tabs get exposed. So those deployment tabs also keep the blades in the open position. And what this allows is it can do all the pivoting around bone. So if one blade contacts it, it can flex back and go through because they're both independent of each other. But what really makes this the most advanced and technologically advanced broadhead ever engineered, and I say that with confidence, yes, the blades are the sharpest in the world, they're the most accurate, all this, but what I'm about to show you guys is what the coolest part is. So this represents the cutting diameter of if every other broadhead would go through scapula. But our broadhead with this compression technology actually allows it to shrink down to 70% of its size and be able to go through that hole, and it redeploys instantly on the other side like this. So you can see right here, if I hold this still, that this is all the surface area that it needs in order to go through the scapula. And for most people, I mean, this is the difference between you getting a big deer or not. And a lot of guys want to shoot fixed blades for this, and I understand, but this only makes up about 5% of the whole surface area that kills a deer. And so you don't want to sacrifice 95% of the opportunity to kill a deer, bad shots in the guts, liver, whatever, for just being able to punch through this. When we designed this, I mean, that was like the litmus test for us, was just being able to get a broadhead that was good enough to be able to penetrate like a fixed blade, but have the cutting surface area of an expandable.